at 7. Working against Butler. Got downhill. Couldn't punch it. Bam says, get it out of here. Here comes Bledsoe. Bam with a great block from behind. Bam. Oh, my. And out of Bio.
So what's going on, guys? Your man NBA fan crazies here, back on the channel with another video. So before we get on today's video, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new, not miss a piece of daily NBA content. Now saying all of that, let's get on to today's video. So the Miami Heat just lost the second game in Philly after losing the previous game 137-134. Now losing this one 125-108, partly because of how well the Sixers shot from three in this game, but overall 46% as they have surrounded Joel Embiid and Ben Simmons in a more they have a roster that fits them more with the 3-point shooting as the 76ers, as you just saw in this game. So for more on this, let's get on to my game recap of this Heat 76ers game, the second game in Philly. Let's go. So my main takeaway from this game is that with the opportunity that's given to various other players or on this roster who haven't played a lot when the team was fully healthy, the ones who have been given the opportunities, and with these opportunities, it's pretty clear to me that the one who shined the most with this opportunity is Gabe Vincent. I mean, last year we didn't see him play a lot unless it's probably blowout. Only significant game where I saw him play pretty much last year was the Clippers game in Los Angeles, where it was on the day where the Heat got Andre Iguodala and Jay Crowder just traded Justice Winslow, so you needed Gabe Vincent on the court. He contributed pretty nicely, but now in light of the players now are not playing due to in the NBA's health and safety protocols, Gabe Vincent's the one who made the most use of that opportunity, because he clearly in these two games played really well, displaying a skill set of shooting threes very well, also handling the ball and leveraging that to get to the rim. He's pretty crafty at times, and you also see him be more comfortable handling the ball too. And he's the one who made most use of the opportunity today in these past two games. And I really like what Gabe Vincent did, because he did provide that additional boost that the Heat clearly did need if they had to win these two games, which they didn't. But I'm happy with the fact that these guys show progress in when the main guys of the roster are not there. So I'm pretty happy with Gabe Vincent's show. Precious Achiuwa has done a lot of progress, but he just recently came out and said that he cares about wins, not doubled, because he's a pretty good player. He was minus 18 today, but he not have the stats, because everyone in this roster pretty much had a pretty bad game tonight. Not a bad game from the roster, but maybe the margin by which the Heat lost, it affected plus minus totals. It always does. I mean, pretty much. And the players who the Heat played, because they did not have outside of Hero, Robinson, and Iguodala. I mean, look at who they played. Kelly Olynyk, pretty much the starting power forward of this team. Precious Achiuwa, who had to play center. He's a backup center for this team. Gabe Vincent, we haven't seen him in the rotation a lot this season until these two games in Philly. And Chris Silver, we haven't seen a lot of him since like last season. Last season he is providing a boost as an energy and hustle guy last season. And I like what even Chris Silver has shown. I mean, Silver has shown a tendency of grabbing the offensive rebound, and in these times today I saw him block and beat. I feel pretty good for Chris Silver, and though he might be expendable, but I still liked what I saw from this roster, even though they are short-handed. I'm not gonna make an excuse, because Still, considering all of this, the Heat had a chance to win the first of these two games in Philly, but the Sixers just too better because let's see, today they got Tobias Harris back, they got Terence Ferguson off the bench playing like 3 minutes, but and Paul Reed, but just goes to show that the Sixers they had a lot of guys come back and the Heat didn't. But I'm not gonna make an excuse for that. I mean, you just saw they did in the first game. They let it go, okay? So I'm not gonna make an excuse for that. And yes, obviously the Heat didn't benefit from the fact that multiple players came back for the Sixers like Shake Milton, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, to just throw a few out there, and some guys who came back and played very few minutes because the game was pretty much decided by then. And out of these opportunities, this team got, Gabe Vincent was the one who played the best. I mean, he was very useful in this game. He made some long ass triples, man. He made some long ass triples. And sometimes he got to the rim pretty well. But the issue for this team, so he was the one who made the most opportunities out of the players who got chances when the whole team wasn't there, the main guys. Now, one issue for this team was that, to be frank with you, was the fact that the 3-pointers. Do you know what frustrates me sometimes with this Heat team? The fact is that they just take too many threes and they know it's not falling. And I get the fact that the Heat are probably too much of a 3-point dependent roster, and this is probably because the main two guys, Butler and Adebayo, are not the guys who space flow. So you need a space flow for them to take advantage of. But this game, when the main two guys are not there, there's not a lot of people who can aggressively drive. The Sixers had guys who drove with the space that's there in the roster now. And now there's not a lot of driving threats too, because Goran Dragic is not there. Jimmy Butler is not there. Bam Adebayo is not there. I'm just pointing to the guys who drive a lot here. And this roster really needed the 3 ball to fall down if they needed to win this second one, which seemed more improbable than the first one because of the 3 guys who came back. Harris, Milton, and Thybulle. That's it. And they made pretty good. They still played valiantly given the fact that they are massively short-handed too. Pretty much goes to show that the Heat tried even in spite of them not having a lot of guys. But the 3-ball, man, you do not need the 3-ball. I've aggressively been thinking in my mind, not expressing or nothing. Why do the Heat not drive it more? Why do they not drive it more when the 3-ball's not falling? This is the tendency of most of the NBA rosters came as a result of the Golden State Warriors 3-point revolution. Too many threes taken, they just won't drive the damn ball. It drives me crazy. Yeah, well, you also know that there's some painted areas that sometimes they had guys who could drive. I mean, Kelly Olynyk could drive. Precious Achiuwa could drive. He did that pretty Euro step on Embiid today, and he also he sped by Embiid, got in for that slam on Tuesday night against Philly. You saw that, right? That was pretty good. My point is that this team does not drive the ball more. Every single team who plays against the Heat drives the ball because there's not a lot of interior rim protection. You need a guy who can either space the floor, who's bigger and knock down threes. And the issue for the Heat is that they also don't have a power forward either. I mean, I was already skeptical of giving Myers Leonard 10 million. Do you know the deal Serge Ibaka? Serge Ibaka went to the Clippers for 9.5 million. So I'm just telling, you need a power forward or a 5. Let Bam play the 4 at times. But you also do need a power forward because Jay Crowder was at times playoffs, even though he was only 6'6", he did pretty well because he has a very strong base. He's 6'6", 240 pounds. This team is missing that, and they're missing. And today, what they didn't have was driving threats. And though the numbers indicate differently, it seemed like they just shot too many threes when the game was in at least close enough. They didn't drive the ball a lot. They just kept shooting threes until it came to respectable margin. I'm just saying. So shooting the three infinitely is a pretty faulty strategy for this team. It is to a fault. You saw with the Houston Rockets what happened to them in Game 7. They just let 27 straight threes miss because the reluctance to take a mid-range shot. They wouldn't even take the mid-range shot. And at least for the Heat, they have shown that. But when the shots are open, you have to take the open shot, not the one analytics say. That's sometimes what I get mad at this team for. But they still made pretty good use of this. And one more thing is the free throw shooting is not that good today. I mean, Kelly Olynyk 1 for 2, Precious Achiuwa 2 for 6, Gabe Vincent 5 for 6, Tyler Hero 2 for 3, Duncan Robinson didn't get any free throws, so didn't Andre Iguodala. Max Strus hit 1 for 3 from the free throw line. Chris Silver hit 5 for 6. Chris Silver was the one who sometimes kept us in the game. And one time I remember a stretch where he went on like, how many dunks? Like 3 or 4 dunks in the third quarter. I mean, that was the time he kept them in the game with offensive rebounds and putbacks and slammed the door, man. So that's pretty much what I think about this game when it comes to the Miami Heat side. Now coming to the Philadelphia 76ers side, getting Tobias Harris, Shake Milton, Matisse Thybulle was a pretty good thing for the 76ers, considering that they really needed all of Embiid's 45 points, 16 rebounds, 4 assists, 5 steal game to get by the Heat. So you could use some help on that front, but getting back to Tobias Harris, who just won Eastern Conference Player of the Week, and he's pretty much a pretty different player. He's more effective under Doc Rivers here, and he's pretty good under Doc Rivers, because Doc Rivers is the coach who brought out the best in Tobias Harris in Los Angeles, in the Clippers basically. And Danny Green, he made me mad last game, but by hitting 9 threes last game. But that's just me as a fan, but looking at it, he is clearly essential. Joel Embiid he didn't go aggressive too much because the team didn't need him. The 76ers didn't need him. The game was pretty much, the 76ers had a significant margin by the time, and Embiid only played 24 minutes. That was the least out of the 5 starters here, according to the stat sheet in front of me. He played only 24 minutes this game. That's the least, and he pretty much sat out most of the second half, as the 76ers still managed to keep it at bay, the Heat at bay. And Ben Simmons, he pretty much, he did what he does best, which is facilitate the basketball. He had a plus 10, he had 10 rebounds, it's a triple-double, 10, 10 and 12. One thing which I would like to see in Simmons is to be more aggressive with the basketball, because most of the times I feel like he's just too passive and he just tries to, and I like the fact that he's looking for his teammates. He's trying to see, he literally found the open man. That led to a lot of threes because the Sixers made a lot of threes today. Speaking of threes, 17 of 37 compared to 12 of 34 for the Heat, 17 of 37 for the Philadelphia 76ers, man. 46% from 3 for the Philadelphia 76ers. This team has structured the roster. This roster clearly fits Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid more. I mean, look at who they got. I mean, getting Shake Milton pretty much had his way with the Heat this game. He put up an efficient 31 points or 27 minutes, 11 for 15 from overall from the field, and 3 for 4 from 3, including one ridiculous 3-pointer to end the first quarter. I mean, like, the shot clock coming to an end, he just leaned into Hero, just put it in. And it led to a 8-point deficit and a 8-point lead, 8-point deficit for the Heat. An 8-point lead for the 76ers. He pretty much had his way with the Heat all game. I mean, it's pretty easy to say. He's getting whatever they wanted. His off the dribble creation, if only for me, if I say it right, will be really essential for the Philadelphia 76ers come playoff time. Because Joel Embiid can close games. But you need a guy who can get the ball to him, who can also shoot. This is what the Sixers have done, because even though Ben Simmons, Joel Embiid, they are more comfortable at the rim. Look at who they're surrounded by. Danny Green, Tyrese Maxey, who can shoot at times, but he's a bit streaky. But he's shown that he's capable of shooting the basketball. And then you got Dakota Mathias, who hit that big 3 against the Heat in overtime last game. And one more guy. This dude, Isaiah Joe, I like this kid a lot. I mean, it just killed me inside the fact that he hit that 3. I mean, it's just me being a Heat fan here, but him hitting that 3 is what made them pretty much being more closer, enabling them to tie the game. He went 4 for 8 from 3. Isaiah Joe, they got him in the second round of Philly because they tried to optimize the fit around Simmons and Embiid. He's from Arkansas. He's like a 6'4" guy, and he's pretty well. What the Sixers have done with guys like Joe and Seth Curry and Green, they've surrounded Embiid and Simmons with 3-point shooters, including Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey. Matisse Thybulle came back today. Let me remind, he was the best defender in the 2019 NBA draft. We know what Thybulle can do. He's really good on the defensive side of the ball. And generally, as a rookie coming in, not even though you're a good defensive player, it's uncommon for rookies to be really to be a positive on that end, because you need more experience. Generally, more on offense, it's defense that takes your time to acclimate to the NBA. The exception, Matisse Thybulle, there was a point of time where people were advocating sometimes for him to be on the all defensive team. That's how good this dude is on the defensive side of the ball. So actively as a takeaway from this game, I as a Heat fan here, the Heat really need to win the next 2 games against Detroit when you're at home against the Pistons, who are pretty much having the worst record in the NBA. So it's pretty much a must win, and these kind of games you need to win, because when you're against the pretty much the worst team in the NBA, you need to take advantage of that. And then 2 games in Detroit, and if you win that, then you have to go to Tampa to take on the Raptors, 2 games there, and then you have to figure out the schedule here. So as far as the Miami Heat go, I thought they should have at least won 1 game in Philly, because they are extremely capable of doing so there. So especially here. So in the next 10 games, they are facing Detroit twice at home, and then going to Tampa to face off against the Raptors. They're going to Brooklyn to face off against the Nets twice, then the Nuggets, then the Clippers, and then the Kings. So the Heat have to better start winning. And as for the 76ers, they have been playing pretty well so far, and they pretty much have lost only 1 game at home, except that was to the Nuggets when they had only like 7 guys play, but they had to put Mike Scott on the bench. So 76ers play Memphis on Sunday, and then OKC on Monday, and then you come back to Boston. It's next Thursday. You play Boston twice, and then Detroit twice, the Pistons twice in Detroit. Then you come back home to play the Lakers, and then pretty much the Timberwolves, and then the Pacers, and then the Hornets. So that's a pretty easy schedule for the 76ers too, speaking about it. So the Heat completed their two-game stretch in Philly. They lost both of those games. So the Heat have to start winning these games as they're coming up, because Toronto's not off to a good start. So is in Detroit, but they have Jeremy Grant, who probably might be a most improved candidate there. So look forward to facing the Pistons there. And these are the Miami Heat plays of the day, so look forward to it. You can see it right on front of your screen right next.
This one. Vince brings it out. Achua, Euro stepping in.
Speed was, again, his advantage on Embiid, the quickness and athleticism.
Euro with the steal, took it away from Embiid, races ahead of Maxey and flushes. 3 of his triples. He has 19 first-half points. Hero on the dunk-in, rolls it home.
Okay guys, so hopefully you watched the Miami Heat plays of the day, so that will take us to the finish line. So thank you for watching this video guys, and I'll see you all next time for Heat Pistons game recap and takeaways. I'll see you all next time. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you like the content put out by me, please subscribe to the channel. Do not miss a piece of daily NBA content, and I will be seeing you guys in the next video.